If there's anything worse than giving a speech to a bunch of dim-witted politicians, I would suggest it's giving a speech to a bunch of dim-witted politicians who aren't even there. Which brings me neatly on to the star of today's show, Government Minister Roderic O Gorman. Now, you may remember him from such tweets as, in reference to Scotland's First Minister, also Humza Yousaf equals total ride. Yes? Or possibly the fact that, as Minister for Integration, he sent out a barrage of tweets, in 8 languages no less, advertising how open and generous Ireland's asylum system was. Even tweeting in Georgian and Albanian, so that people from safe and peaceful countries would know that they are also welcome to come and claim asylum too. I mean, why should Ireland only take real asylum seekers after all? Now, some might think it a bit odd that as a homosexual, childless man, he is our current Minister for Children. But I would suggest that's merely a sign of how far Ireland has come in modern progressive thinking. In fact, so successful is he in this remit that his department seems to lose an embarrassingly large amount of vulnerable young children in state care. And on top of that, contract dodgy Nigerian conmen to run care homes for vulnerable children on their behalf, with very little oversight, it seems. Is it any wonder that some senior politicians are beginning to lose patience with the abilities of Roderic? One senior government source noted, quote, "The cruel truth is that he, Roderic, is leaving a trail of destruction behind him. Direct provision, TUSLA, the mother and child scheme, it's all in chaos." And that brings me on to today's little ditty. You see, Minister O'Gorman here was tasked with delivering a speech to the Dail this week to celebrate International Women's Day. And it's surely a mark of the man's popularity and gravitas that not so much as one other member of Parliament bothered to show up to hear it. Not even any of the feminists. The term Billy No Mates springs to mind.
I'd like to begin my statement today by welcoming all present to the Dail chamber and wishing
Nobody's
everybody,
there.
Particularly my female colleagues, a happy International Women's Day. As Minister with responsibility.
Now, I fully realise life is too short to listen to some idiot droning on in an empty Parliament. So, for my viewers who are pressed for time, I've prepared a shortened version of the speech, colourised. I'm sure you'll agree, I think I managed to capture the very essence of the speech there. The only people who were there were the Ceann Comhairle, a couple of scribes and a security man. They had no choice but to be there. Anyone who did have a choice exercised that choice by choosing not to go. But let's not be too hard on old Rodders here. It's not his fault that he's useless. And anyway, it's not like putting a childless homosexual man in charge of the Department of Children is even anything unusual by governmental standards. After all, we have a transport minister who hates most forms of transport, a minister for higher education who didn't manage to make it through the first year of his own higher education, and the leader of the Women's Parliamentary Caucus who can't seem to define what a woman actually is. I could of course go on, but I do like to try and keep my videos under the 4-hour mark. But let me leave you with a visual representation of how I see Ireland going these days. Yes, a picture is worth 1,000 words. You're welcome.